everybody. Have you been thinking of maybe moving to Arizona for your retirement, but you're not quite sure which would be the best place for you to live? Well, you're in luck today because I am reviewing an article in niche.com, which is the 2024 best places to retire in the state of Arizona. The channel is Living in Northern Arizona, where I post videos about living in the northern half of the state of Arizona every single week. And I am also a licensed real estate agent in the state, so I always have my contact information in the description below. And if you ever want to talk about buying or selling a home in Arizona, especially in northern Arizona, give me a call, text, or an email, and I will get back to you. So in today's video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. A lot of the times when I do video, it's about the areas that I'm very familiar with and very comfortable talking to you about, non-scripted, so I can easily look at you in the camera. But today I'm actually just going to be rolling down this article in my tablet and giving you my thoughts on these towns that were chosen by niche.com to let you know if these are a good option for retirement or if there's anything that I agree with or disagree with in the article. So niche.com is a data source that I often use because I create videos about the towns in northern Arizona and give you details about schools, population, weather, climate, and that sort of things. And this is a very reliable source. The one thing I can say about niche.com though is often the median sales price or value of homes is way off. And I'll give you a couple of examples when we get to Sedona, which is where I live and I primarily sell, so I can see their price is way off in that one, but a lot of the other data is pretty accurate, so I wanted to start with that. So I'm going to go through the list. Their very first one is Catalina Foothills. Now, Catalina Foothills is actually in Tucson. It's kind of the north area of Tucson. Niche.com gives them a grade of A+. There is a population of just over 50,000, and it is a nice area. Actually, my daughter lives in Tucson, so I am often in this area driving around. Catalina Foothills is one of the areas that I thought, maybe I should help her buy a home there. Now, of course, it is going to depend if my daughter can get into the medical school down there, if we would consider maybe making a home purchase down there. They're saying B+ on jobs. Of course, if you're retired, that doesn't matter, right? Has a median household income of $110,000. Seems to be pretty safe based on these data I am reviewing here in niche.com. It's got very low data on violent and property crimes, probably because there's just not that many of them reported. But Catalina Foothills in the north part of Tucson, Arizona is the first one on the list of niche.com. The second one is Green Valley. Now, Green Valley I'm also familiar with. Now, it is part of Tucson, but is much further south. It's actually close to the Mexico border, which kind of has me a little bit hesitant. But I have known people that have lived there and purchased there, and they seem to love it because it's an active retirement community. There are a lot of people in that age group that live there, and the prices, oh my goodness, the prices for homes are very inexpensive. So Green Valley is number 2 on the list of niche.com best places to retire in the state of Arizona. Now, number 3, Paradise Valley. Paradise Valley is a part of the Phoenix metropolitan area. I lived in Phoenix for 50 years, so even though I live in northern Arizona now, I still do have a condo in the Phoenix area, and like I said, I lived there a very long time. I actually lived north of Paradise Valley for a long time. I would say that is a fantastic place to retire, but there is a very high cost of living. Home prices are very high there, so only if you could afford it. Population is only about 12,600, and the median home value of often underestimated niche.com has it at over $2 million, so it's probably twice that right now. So Paradise Valley, Arizona, great place to retire if you can afford it. Okay, number 3 on this list is Fountain Hills, Arizona. Fountain Hills, again, a small community kind of northeast of Scottsdale, population of almost 24,000. That actually is quite a nice area. I have not been there a long time, but good on crime, things to do, very nicely maintained homes, and I think that would make it a very good place to retire. It's a little bit out of town, but you still have the problems of being near Phoenix Metro where you have super hot temperatures. But again, Fountain Hills is number 4 on the list, and number 5 they have is Desert Hills. Now I have to look to see exactly where Desert Hills is. Population of about 2,600. I'm looking at the map right now, and it's near Lake Havasu. So Desert Hills is one of the areas that they recommend. Says they have very friendly people and a small town feeling. So I do not usually cover this part of the state in my real estate career, so I can't give you much more than that, but it might be something worth looking into if you were curious about retiring in Desert Hills. Now number 6 is Oro Valley. Now Oro Valley, I want to say again, is a part of Tucson. It's again slightly on the northern side. In fact, it's a little bit maybe north of Catalina Foothills. Has an overall grade of an A, population just shy of $50,000. Again, my daughter actually dates someone who lives in San Manuel. I think she drives through Oro Valley to get to it. Seems very nice when I've been over there. So I would say a good place to consider. Also, price is very good in this Oro Valley. Tucson, actually, one of the better areas for prices of real estate in the state of Arizona, and Oro Valley being one of those as well. Now, 7 and 8 on the list are going to be Sun City West and Sun City. So these are exclusive retirement communities in the Phoenix area. Sun City West, of course, being on the west side, a little bit north, and same thing with Sun City. One of the things I've heard about Sun City that makes it very attractive is very, very low property taxes, because there's not a lot of school taxes and that kind of thing. Decent prices on homes. There's a couple of things to consider, though. I've heard that some of the areas, because of retirement, have pretty high HOA fees, so that might be something to think about. And a lot of times when I've been showing homes in these areas, which I don't do very often because I work mostly in northern Arizona now, it does seem like some of the homes are a little bit old. You know, being older, you may have more repairs to do. So Sun City and Sun City West on 7 and 8. They have number 9 is Scottsdale, Arizona. Now Scottsdale, it's a little bit surprising to me that they would pick this as a retirement mecca. Again, I lived in Arizona and in the Phoenix area for over 50 years. Scottsdale, what my reason to question this, actually, my brother lives in Scottsdale, and I was, you know, at homes in Scottsdale very often when I lived there. I had many friends that lived in Scottsdale, so that's why I spent time in Scottsdale. To me, it seemed a little bit overpriced for what you get. Like, quite a bit more expensive than some of the surrounding towns like Phoenix or Chandler or Gilbert, but yet what in there was so great that it justified the higher price. Now, here I am, I'm talking maybe the prices of homes and cost of living in Scottsdale, very similar to where I live in Sedona, Arizona, but when you look at Sedona compared to like Cottonwood or the neighboring towns, might be a very similar differential, right? So Scottsdale and Sedona, Arizona have a cost of living index of about 141, and compare that to the neighboring towns of maybe 115, 120 cost of living. So why is Scottsdale that much better? Sedona, I can see it because you got the red rocks, you got all the beautiful tourism, you got the resorts, you got the hiking trails, you got the woo-woo spiritual draw, but I'm not sure why Scottsdale is so high on this list. Population in Scottsdale about 240,000. That makes it a little bit too crowded for me. Again, you know, you're going to say I'm biased or I don't know what I'm talking about. You can say it if you want. I'm just saying that's my opinion. I'm not sure why Scottsdale makes number 9 on the list. Possibly it's because of all the fantastic golf courses and parks and stuff to do, but again, I don't know. So Carefree, number 10. Carefree, another nice town in the northern part of the Phoenix metro area. Very small population though, about 3,600. Prices there, again, a little bit high, probably higher than Scottsdale, but not quite as high as Paradise Valley. Let me see what they're saying the median prices in Scottsdale, because it's going to be too high. I mean, too low. Yeah, they've got the median hold value of Scottsdale at $650,000. That's at least half of what the actual number is. So, okay, let's go now to number 11 in the list, Fortuna Hills. That is curious because I'm not even sure where that is. That only has a niche.com grade of C+, so I'm not sure why they picked this. 27,500 population. I'm going to check out the map to see where this is. Oh, this is low in the state of, oh wow, this is actually almost to Yuma. So it's on the Interstate 8 on the way to California, almost to California, Fortuna Hills. So that's number 12 is Benson. Benson, niche grade of B, population 5,300. So a very small town. And where is Benson? It is on the east side of Interstate 10 as you're leaving Tucson, about halfway to New Mexico. So interesting, they picked that as number 10. Gold Canyon. Okay, here's something I know about Gold Canyon. Now, I don't know a lot about Gold Canyon, but what I do know is it has a population of less than 12,000, and it's kind of in the Phoenix area, kind of as you're leaving Phoenix, actually past Apache Junction. So the thing about Gold Canyon is it's close to Apache Junction, but it's like nicer than Apache Junction. Apache Junction, we used to make jokes about how it was, you know, inhabited by trailer parks and dealers. You know, that's rumor, of course, but Gold Canyon is actually past Apache Junction. Very nice area where older people live. Kind of out in the desert, though, so you'd be into the desert if you're thinking of Gold Canyon. And the other thing about Gold Canyon is that it has a population, small population of about 11,500, according to this article. Now let's go a little bit further. After Gold Canyon, they are selecting, okay, number 14 on this list is Sun Lakes. Now, Sun Lakes, again, is a part of the Phoenix metro area. It's a little bit south and west of Chandler. Actually, sometimes I see an address of Chandler in Sun Lakes. It's giving it a B grade overall, population of about 14,000. Now, I have friends that live in Sun Lakes. I do like it. I've looked in there before when I was considering buying my condo, which I ended up in Chandler, but Sun Lakes actually seems very nice, and it is a big retirement community, so there are lots of places that are age restricted that have activities that you might enjoy if you are retired. So I do like Sun Lakes. It's actually got very good crime data, but such a small number of data points that they're not really reporting it. Gives it a B on places to work, but if you're retired, of course, you're probably not working, so that would be okay. Number 15 on the list is Wickenburg. Now, Wickenburg, that seems a little bit strange. It's a town that I've not been to a long time. You kind of pass it on, you're going through on your way to Las Vegas. It's kind of out there on the west, on the north side of Phoenix. Still a little bit hot. Niche gives it a grade of B-, a population of about 7,600. Crime rate, not that bad compared to the national rate. So lower than national, about a third of the national rate for assault, and lower than national on burglary and theft, maybe about half. So that might be okay. It's going to be hot in Wickenburg. It's going to be not a lot of stuff out there, but niche.com thinks it's number 15, which is odd because it has it even higher than Sedona. So now I personally live in Sedona, Arizona. I can tell you a lot about Sedona. Population of about 10,000 residents. Now this is in the city of Sedona if you consider the outlying unincorporated areas like where I live in Village of Oak Creek. Sedona population going to add about another 6,000 residents. So here's the example of why I know the median home value in niche.com is way off. Again, it has 664 as the median home price in Sedona, and it's actually between 1.1 and 1.5 million depending on the zip code that you live in. The temperature is very nice here in Sedona. It does snow occasionally in the wintertime, but you'll get a storm blowing through and then it will be gone in 2 days. So the climate not nearly as hot as Arizona, as Phoenix, so the climate is very good. You do have a lot of older residents here, but there's not a lot of age-restricted community. It's beautiful in Sedona. You have a great great view wherever you look. There are a lot of activities. There's a lot of hiking. A lot of people live here in Sedona that are retired, and they are on fantastic shape because they do a lot of exercise. They eat very healthy, and so it does seem to be a very attractive if you're health conscious, if you're into the beautiful views of red rocks, if you like things like hiking. There are many golf courses and lots of the spiritual types of stuff to do. So Sedona, they have on their list at number 16. I would have put it way higher than that, and to me, shocking that they put places like Wickenburg ahead of Sedona. But yeah, that's what they have done. So I'm going to go continue to go down this list and tell you about a couple of the other places. I'm going to skip over a few and tell you the ones that I know more about. Marana, they have at number 19, which is a suburb of Tucson on the north side. I actually think Marana is not a bad place to live. It has a population of just over 52,000. At number 2, they have Apache Junction. Now, the only reason I could consider Apache Junction being on a list of good places to retire is because it's super cheap to buy a house there. Population of about $38,000, and it's part of the desert. Again, a little bit spotty in Apache Junction, and the crime rate, they've got it as a C, where they have assault and murder higher than national average. Is that where you want to retire? Where you got high murder rate? Assault, about same as national average. Burglary, robbery, a little bit less than national average. Property crime, maybe a teeny bit less, but I don't know. They have Apache Junction up there. At number 25 on the list is Clarkdale, Arizona. Now, I can tell you a bit about Clarkdale because it's in the Verde Valley, which is where I live, and in one of the areas I sell real estate. Actually, there are very nice homes in Clarkdale. It seems like they're building quite a bit of new homes. The population is small at about 4,500. It's right next to Cottonwood. Now, Cottonwood has got all the medical centers in the Verde Valley, some in Camp Verde also, but close to the hospital. Lots to do, lots to eat. Newer homes, like I say, they're building newer homes right now. A little bit older population than maybe neighboring Cottonwood. It is nestled between Cottonwood and Jerome, Jerome being a ghost town in the Mingus Mountain Range, and it's kind of on the foot of Mingus Mountain Range. I think Clarkdale is a very nice place to live. I would have put this way higher on the list of best retirement communities. Let me see what they have on crime. Crime rate, violent crime like assault is about half of the national average. They're not even reporting any murders, robberies at all in Clarkdale. Burglary, property crime, about half of the national average. So Clarkdale, now when we're talking about temperature, it's slightly lower in elevation than Sedona, so maybe a little bit warmer in the summertime. And when I say that, I mean the average summertime high is probably in the 90s, although in Sedona we have a high record of 110, so Clarkdale maybe about the same. So temperature is pretty good in Clarkdale. Again, I would have put it way higher than they did on this list of places to retire. All right, I'm going to go skip through here by a couple. I'm going to say number 27 is Surprise. Surprise is not too far from, say, the Sun City area. There are a lot of retirees in that part of the Phoenix metro area. I'm just going to check about 145,000 residents in Surprise. Now, Williamson, that's going to be in Yavapai County, not too far. It might even be considered part of Prescott. Actually, I'd have to look that up. Population of about 6,000. Williamson, actually a very beautiful place, so I can see why that would be on the list. Litchfield Park, number 29. That's kind of near metropolitan Phoenix. Anthem, my sister lived in Anthem. There was a lot of stuff to do. That's kind of on the north part of Phoenix as you're driving out of town, like just before you get to New River and Black Canyon City, and then you're like out of metropolitan Phoenix. So Anthem, it's kind of nice. There's a lot of newer homes that have gone in there. It was sad when my sister moved away from there. At number 31, we have Prescott. Now, there are a lot of retired people in Prescott. I'm going to say Prescott because that ticks people off. Niche.com gives it an overall grade of a B, population of 46,000. It's saying the median home value is about 475,000. I know that's not true. It's in the 800,000s, but Prescott being a nice place to live, it's got an elevation of about 5,000 foot above sea level, so it's going to be a little bit cooler. But a very nice area. I can see Prescott being on the list of best places to retire. I would have put it higher than 31. So 33, Peoria. That is a suburb of metropolitan Phoenix. I'm not crazy about Peoria. Number 34, Pine Top Lakeside. That is in like the White Mountains area. A little bit interesting that that's there because it's very cold in the wintertime. Let's go here. Number 36 they have is Payson. Payson is actually quite nice. It's in the central part of Arizona, probably at about 5,000 foot elevation. So again, it's going to be a little bit cold in the wintertime. You could get snow. You will get snow, actually. On most years, you will get snow. And Payson, one thing I know about Payson is the median home prices are lower than some of the other areas, and the cost of living index is actually a little teeny bit below the national average. It's got a population of about 16,000. At number 37, they have listed Florence, Arizona. Now that's interesting. Florence, of course, being kind of way out in the desert on the outskirts of Phoenix. I know about Florence because my dad used to take me hunting there when I was a kid, and we'd go out there riding motorcycles and stuff. Very sparsely populated at about 25,000. However, the crime rate is not that bad in Florence. There used to be a prison there. I think they closed it, but crime rate about half of, actually lower than half of the national average. So possibly you would want to consider Florence if you don't mind living like way out in the desert. Now we have, okay, this I totally disagree with. Superior, Arizona is like one of the mining towns. You got Globe, Miami, Superior, kind of on the way out of Phoenix. Super high crime rate, so I have no idea why that would be in there. Mesa at number 40. Mesa makes sense. Mesa has a lot of retirement communities, decent cost of living, decent home prices. My grandmother retired in Mesa and lived there probably 20 years after retirement, and she just loved it. She lived in one of these age-restricted communities. Mesa East, it actually was a mobile home park, but you actually owned your mobile home on the land it sat on, and it was really great for her. It had all sorts of activities. She made tons of friends, so I would say Mesa, I would agree to put that on the list. It's got a population of about 500,000, which is like, wow, that's pretty high, especially where I live in a town of about 10,000. So number 41 is Show Low. I'm kind of curious why Show Low is on the list, because it's freezing cold in the wintertime, population of about 12,000. And I do know from some of the videos I've done that the crime rate is pretty high. Look, it's twice the national average of assault, 3 times the robbery, not too high. Okay, maybe property crimes less. I'm not sure why Show Low would be in here, but that's my reason. Just because of some of the videos I've done where I'm looking into crime rates, Show Low seems to be pretty high. Again, in the White Mountains, high elevation, population less than 12,000, but Show Low on their list of best places to retire at number 41. Number 42, Casa Grande. It's kind of sparsely populated south of Phoenix Metro on your way to Tucson. Really not a lot of stuff there. I'm not sure why that'd be on there. Goodyear. Goodyear's not a bad place. My sister lives in Goodyear. Actually, my mother is in a memory care facility that borders Avondale and Goodyear. Extremely good facility for somebody who is in their end-of-life stages, but extremely expensive. Like it's $7,000 a month to put your aging parent in there. Now Chandler, okay, 44 is Chandler. I know about Chandler because when my family first moved to Arizona from New York back in 1970, that was the first place we landed, Chandler. Chandler has an overall niche grade of A. Population of 275,000. Now it's showing a median home value of $425,000. That's at least $100,000 short. Now, I own a condo in Chandler. because my family is there and my kids stay there and I stay there when I'm there for the weekend or the holidays or a vacation. It has crime rate at about half of the national average, so that's good. Really good place for jobs. It's kind of a technological hub of the community. Of course, if you're thinking of retiring, Chandler is really your job. You might not really care so much about that. So Chandler at number 44. Number 45 is Yuma. Yuma is on the southwest border, kind of as you're leaving Arizona to go to California and very close to the Mexico border. There are a lot of retired people in Yuma. Almost 100,000 people live there, but it is really hot. So just realize that if you can't stand the heat. Yuma is one of the hottest places in the state. At number 47, we have Gilbert. Now, I actually lived in Gilbert for very many years in my youth. I graduated from Gilbert High School in the 1980s, so I do know a lot about Gilbert, although it has changed a lot. When I lived there, say 1980, the population was about 8,000, and today it's 267,000. So there's been like a lot of growing pains, a lot of expanding population in Gilbert. When I lived there, you would go miles through cornfields, cotton fields, alfalfa fields to get to the next subdivision of houses. A lot of homes were on irrigation. I actually lived on an acre home that was irrigated. You had a very small high school. I think I had a high school of about 1,000 students when I was there. Now Gilbert has grown. It is kind of like a mini Scottsdale. It's actually very nice looking, and they say it's a very safe place, but I am concerned that there's been the crime and safety they have at a B a couple of years ago. So actually last year, some poor kid at a Halloween party got beaten to death by a gang. So even though it's showing it's super safe in Gilbert, like things have really changed, and there's a lot of like young teen violence going on where they're beating up other kids, and that one kid got killed. And I would be concerned if I was moving in with children that are high school age because of this recent surge of violence, and possibly that's because of the growing pains. But again, they have Gilbert as number 47 in places to retire. Now, let me just go, I'm not going to go through many more of these. Sierra Vista they have at 48. Now, Sierra Vista, not too far from Tucson. Queen Creek, again, that's adjacent to Gilbert. Queen Creek has probably also had a lot of growing pains. There was like nothing in Queen Creek when I lived there. Queen Creek? Queen Creek. There was nothing there, and now there's 61,000 residents. And I'm just going to take you through a few more. They have Arizona City as number 51. That's interesting because it's kind of on the Utah border. That's where all the polygamists live. Population of about 8,500. You know, there was that Jeff Jeffries guy that got arrested. He's from Arizona City. I'm not sure if that's his name. Something like Jeffries. He was the big polygamist. If you Google that, you can find out that story. Lake Havasu City, that's not a bad choice for retirement. It's at number 52. Realize it's super hot in Lake Havasu City, but it is next to the lake, and has a population of about 57,000, so you might want to consider that. San Manuel, okay, a little bit I know about San Manuel. That is a suburb of Tucson, the northern part of Tucson, kind of around the Catalina Mountains. The reason I know about it is because my daughter's boyfriend lives there. He's actually able to own a house at 25, so I'm very proud of him for that. San Manuel also on the list. Let me see what the population is of San Manuel. Very small, 3,500 if you want a town like that. They've got Bisbee on the list. I don't know if I'd pick Bisbee. Tucson. Tucson is number 56, just the entire Tucson and not a suburb. Let's see what is. My daughter currently living in Tucson, niche grade of B+, 541,000 population. Again, the prices of homes and apartments in Tucson slightly less than the rest of the state. It is a college town. I'm concerned about a little bit of crime down there, but it's not as bad as some of the other places. So I'm just going to scroll through and finish out the video and put a couple of noteworthy ones in here. They have Tempe. Tempe seems an odd choice for retirement because it is a home of Arizona State University. I actually am an alumnus of Arizona State University and Northern Arizona University, and population of 181. The reason I say it's strange is because, again, it's next to the university, but I know when I was living there, they were building a lot of these condo retirement complexes close to the state, and it was attempting to draw retirees. I don't know how that played out, but that may be why it's on the list. Prescott Valley on the list at 62. I do sell homes in Prescott Valley. It is a very nice area. You've got Miami, another place with very high crime rate, one of those mining towns where you see Globe, Miami, Superior. I don't know why that's on the list. They also have Verde Villages on here. Now, what's odd about Verde Villages is not really a town. It's kind of a part of Cottonwood in Verde Valley. So, odd. There's like Verde Village 1 through 8. And I do sell homes in there. It's a nice area, but I keep seeing that coming out as its own place. Chino Valley on here at number 69. Phoenix is number 70. Just go ahead and see if there's anything else worth looking at on this list. I'm curious why Flagstaff is not on here. At number 79 is Cottonwood. Again, another one of the Verde Valley towns. Cottonwood probably only has about 12,000 residents. Temperature is very nice. The price is not bad, probably considered similar to Chandler Gilbert area. Again, Camp Verde just underneath Cottonwood. Williams on the list. Williams, high elevation, sometimes water problems. Not that great of crime rate, so Williams, not sure why that's on there. Glendale at number 85. All right, number 90 on the list is Flagstaff. So Flagstaff has a population of 76,000. It's the home of Northern Arizona University. I don't know why Flagstaff would be lower than like Show Low or Pine Top Lakeside, because it's actually about the same elevation. Problem there is, of course, it's very cold in the wintertime, high elevation, so if you're older, you may have breathing problems because of the thin air. It rates about C+ in the crime and safety category, where you've got like the assault rate slightly higher national average, but murder rate a third. Property crime less than the national average. Now, there are some decent healthcare facilities. The hospital in Flagstaff is very good. I know a lot of people ask me about healthcare. Healthcare in Verde Valley, Sedona, not as good as, say, Flagstaff. And, of course, Phoenix, very good for healthcare. Tucson seems to be very good as well. So that's the list of niche.com best places to retire in the state of Arizona. I hope you enjoyed the list. If you want any more detail on any of these towns, some of them I know, of course, Northern Arizona towns I do know best. I also know about Phoenix because, like I say, I lived there for many years. I occasionally sell real estate in Phoenix, and I know about Tucson a little bit because my daughter lives there. But if you ever want to have a discussion about buying or selling a home in Arizona, please give me a call or a text or an email. I will get back to you. My contact information is always in the description below. Again, I post videos every single week about living in Northern Arizona or real estate or something to relate to living in Northern Arizona and real estate. So if you like the video, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up. And if you are interested in seeing more of this type of information, please subscribe to the channel. I post videos every single week, and I will see you back here on this channel next week.